I've managed to set this up so you can get a really good look. What I've done is taken a little flashlight right here, and what I'm going to do is stick the flashlight on the bottom around the back, and I want to see if I can get not too much light on there to where you can see the honing. That's a very good cross hatch hone of the steel. The rust is removed. It looks like it has water on there. It doesn't. What I like to do is, after you do your honing or whatever, any kind of water on here, and you need to use water to clean up all the little pieces of steel, the dust, is I got a little bit of Wesson oil or canola oil or whatever was in the kitchen, and I just put a little bit on my finger and I put it on the interior. That keeps it from rusting. Remember that car paint was only developed for one reason. It was to keep the steel from rusting. And I'm sure you've seen ships and everything at the bottom of the ocean and what water and rust can do to steel. It's like Henry Ford used to say back when he built his first autos. He said, hell, you can have your car any color you want, as long as it's black. And of course they've come up with a million different colors since then. Now the next thing that we can do, and remember this is an all aluminum case right here with a steel cylinder, which is the best of both worlds. You get a lightweight case and you get a long-term wearing steel cylinder. Now on the Yamaha, I believe they use what's called a aluminum cylinder, and they use something called Nicosil, and that is a very plated hard finish that they put in a cylinder so that it doesn't wear. The only problem with it is you can't bore it out. If it's damaged, you got to get a new cylinder, because you can't. There's nothing you do with it if it wears off. The next thing that we can do is check the ring gap, and I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to show you how it's done. The ring gap, and there's that little mark that we were looking for on this with the new rings. You want to have that up or top. The ring gap, as you can see, there is a gap between the piston ends. What the ring gap is as the piston heats up and cools down and expands, everything expands and contracts. What you do, if you want to check the end gap, is we put the ring in by itself, and I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but you get it started and you put it in, and then you take your piston and you want to get it flat or perpendicular or whatever, but you go nice and slowly and put it in there like that. And then what we do is let's see if I can show you with this. Okay, do you notice that? Okay, you can see the ring right there. Okay, do you notice that very, very small gap? Well, that is the heating and cooling gap. What it does is allows the ring to expand very, very slightly at operating temperature and seal the ring against the piston. And then as it cools, it will widen. What we're concerned about is that the gap is not so close as to what happens is when the ring expands, that these two areas right here, they touch, but they don't make the ring compress the way it should against the cylinder, and you have the ring too tight in here. That's what we do. Now, in order to check this, you take a feeler gauge, and the book right here, I'm not going to do it, but the book will tell you exactly what the gap should be. So you take your feeler gauge, which is a very thin piece of metal. I don't have one right here, and like I said, I wasn't going to get into this, but I'll give you a general idea. And you can do this on all of your rings that have a gap, mainly the two. Well, you can do them all of them, matter of fact. It's so many thousandths of an inch or something. But you take your feeler gauge and you come over here. Let's see if I can get a... these videos are kind of running on. But you'll get your ring, your feeler gauge, and you'll run it in between here. And see if the gap is correct. If it's not correct, what we do is we pull the ring out very, very carefully like this, and we'll take a little tiny metal file and we'll file one edge and make it wider. Now another trick you can do that I'm not going to do is if you don't want score marks, well, okay, score marks next video.